Sometimes we hear bad words, that we've never heard of, coming from the children. Where do they learn this from? Welcome back in Who Says So? And this time, this topic, very common, people say, children are like sponges. Children are like sponges. Now, what does that mean actually?
To put it in general, basically, a sponge, they would absorb everything around them, right? Same thing goes for the children, their brain. Children, they tend to absorb whatever they see or whatever they hear. Hence why I think the topic today is very interesting, because we would like to address how we as adults, what kind of environment we give to our children, and what are the things that they may absorb, whether it's positive or negative.
When we adults are talking, as parent and as teacher, we sometimes forget that the most important audience who's actually listening and absorbing everything are the children. Maybe you want to share some scenarios, some experiences.
Like we mentioned, children, they look at the adults and they absorb things, right? For example, if let's say a parent is driving on the road and suddenly a car cuts in front of them, there's some parents may have some remarks. It can be positive. Oh, Alhamdulillah, I'm going to give way for you. It can also be negative. Hence, you have to remember, at the back, our children are sitting. They're actually listening to us.
During report card day, when there's like parents and teachers, is it advisable for children to be there listening?
We always forget that children, they are actually able to understand emotions. So whenever we want to address something positive, fine, the child can be there. But if we want to address something negative, it's best if the child is not there. Because we as adults, we want to overcome the problem rather than, highlighting to the child, oh, you have this issue. Because they understand. They really understand.
Different environment now. At home, you brought up just now the environment like in the car. So at home, watching news, watching TV.
If let's say there are some things that we think is not appropriate for children that they see on the TV, what parents can do is talk to your children, explain to them.
But our children are not just passive sponges, alright?
Yeah.
They love to ask questions and they're very curious.
Yes.
So they're not just like, okay, mommy, you explain that. They will ask and they will challenge you, challenging question. But they meant well, it's their curiosity.
Learning
right?
process.
Yeah. So they are active sponges, alright? So, but whatever it is, remember that our remarks, children see, children do, children feel, and children follows. Children takes in the whole thing. If you give a remarks about certain food that you like and dislike, and they will also be absorbing that too, to understand that, or to follow the preference, or to create their own wall to think that that's you, I'm different. Sometimes they can actually build their own identity that way too, and we have to also respect that. From this sponge, they can also create their own identity as well.
I think this one is for maybe older children, but for younger children, we have to bear in mind that they absorb everything. Once they've absorbed everything, as they get older, they would create the wall, their preferences. When they are younger, they would absorb everything. So you have to be very careful.
In preschool, in classroom, as teachers, we hear these words from children. Sometimes we hear bad words, that we've never heard of, coming from the children. Where do they learn this from? Or maybe we hear remarks, and this child will actually spread it to other children, and other children will be listening to the same word. You see how contagious this is?
Yes.
How this sponge can also not just absorb, but also spill water from out of the sponge.
Yeah.
We as teachers, we often have to undo, help to undo it for the children. No, it's not good. You don't say like that. It takes the whole village to raise a child. It's not just the job of the teachers, not just the job of the parents. Take the whole village to actually make sure whatever that is absorbed from the sponge, by the sponge, are absorbing only good things and building their personality, their good character, excellent character when they grow up. See you again in Who Says So. Remember, children absorb.
Children see, children do.